Hey everybody, how are you today? Mark Comfort here, sporting my Kansas City Chiefs gear, ready for another run to the Super Bowl. Hope you're a Chiefs fan. This is a great time of year for us. But today I'm going to talk about something even better than the Chiefs, if that could be possible, and that's travel, and that's some of the trips that create memories that last a lifetime. This is something we've been working on, as many of you know, for probably close to 3 years, when Mimi and I found out that AmaWaterways was going to be the very first river cruise line company to go into Colombia, South America, and have river cruising in that fascinating country. We told them when they knew when their ships would be traveling, we wanted to be one of the first to charter one of their ships. They're building 2 ships. They're 40 staterooms, so they're small ships. They're brand new, and we'll go over all that today, but we wanted to take over the whole ship. Now, what's happened over the years is because AmaWaterways is the one putting in all of the infrastructure, building those 2 new ships in Colombia, South America, it has just simply taken longer than they thought it would. They were supposed to be already doing this, but they're quite a ways behind, actually. They will start in March of this year with one of their 2 new ships, and then their second ship will begin in May of this year of 2025. So we were going to go in July, but I was just too nervous about the fact of whether they would have it ready, whether the crew would be trained, and whether everything would go. I didn't want to cancel it again or delay it again. And we got thinking about it. We got thinking, Colombia, South America is right on the equator. Why on earth are we going in July anyway? Why don't we go in January, February, or March when it's cold and miserable and snowy and icy here? And so that's what we've decided to do. So as you see, we reschedule it for February 25th of 2026 till March 4th. Now we have a prepackaged, 2 prepackaged options that I will be doing, one going into Medellin in the center of the country before the cruise for 3 nights, 4 days, and then flying us back into Cartagena for 2 nights. So there's an option for you. 5 nights total going into Medellin and Cartagena, or just 2 nights if you just want to fly into Cartagena and not Medellin, and then get on the cruise. So we're on the Magdalena River, and I want you to know I have done a lot of studying about this country, and I follow a lot of trends as to what some of the newest, hottest, most popular countries for tourism to go to. And I'll tell you, Colombia is always 100% of the time on that list. And in some cases, number 1, some cases number 2, in some cases number 3, but it's always in the top 3 of the most popular new countries for world's tourists, not just Americans, the world to tour. And they've gotten award after award after award for most hospitality, best value for your dollar, fabulous food, warm, hospitable people, as I just said. And I will tell you what, I know, those of you watching, I don't know what your ages are, but those of us in essence 60 and over remember Colombia as the capital of the drug lords. And it was at one time, most certainly it was. It's not now. And so the rest of the world, that I would say to you that is 45 and under, have discovered Colombia, and people around the world are going to Colombia in masses. It's just unbelievable, and they're building a beautiful infrastructure in there. But what interests me so much, as it does my wife, every trip we look to go to has 1 of 4 things, or 2 of 4 things, or 3 of 4 things: history, culture, scenery, and wildlife. History, culture, scenery, and wildlife. For example, this Nile River that I'm going to in March with a group, that number 1 is history. There's no history in the world like what you'll see in Egypt and in the Nile River. Number two is the culture. There's not much scenery and there's not much wildlife. But let's talk about Colombia now. In my opinion, culture will be the number one priority that I think everybody will see, experience, and enjoy without a close second. And then second will be history. There's a lot of history here, and I'm going to go over part of it with you in a minute here. The third will be the wildlife and biodiversity, but there's so much wildlife. If you are a bird lover, or as my wife has become a bird nerd, you are going to love Colombia, South America. And then the fourth would be scenery. And again, if you go into places like Medellin with me in the mountainous region, Colombia is a beautiful, beautiful mountainous country. And by the way, it's one of the only countries I know of, there might be more, that borders two oceans. It's got the Pacific on one side and the Atlantic or the Caribbean on the other side. And the Panama Canal, Panama, kind of connects it to Central America. So let's go over this now. But again, you guys know how cold and miserable it is. By the way, I just got back from Aruba last night. I hope my tan and color is showing. It's nice to be out of the cold and miserable weather here and someplace warm and sunny. And by the way, the average temperature in February and March in Colombia is 88 as the high and 75 as the low. So you'll be real impressed with all this. But if any of you have ever been to Cartagena on an ocean cruise, you've seen these kind of colors, the colors of the Caribbean, I like to call it. And I think it's just beautiful. And of course, wildlife is great there. The river, much like our Mississippi that runs north and south through the entire country, is the Magdalena River. And that is the river that we'll be going on. And I'll go through all this in just a minute. And by the way, there will be many similarities to the Mississippi River and to the Magdalena River. In many cases, it's a brown, muddy bottom, so it's brown water, a little more muddy water, as you'll see. But we'll go through all this, and I want to talk to you about why AmaWaterways started and is interested in putting in their river cruise experience in Colombia. And I'll go over why we're doing this on Ama and how much I love Ama, and their satisfaction is second to none. But in the picture up on the left-hand corner, taken it in 2021, I believe it was, Rudy Schreiner on the far right with the hand on his hips, the lighter colored shirt, blue shorts. He literally is the founder of AmaWaterways, founder and president of AmaWaterways. To his left is Christine Karst, his wife, and her title is Vice President of Sales and Marketing too. And she's just, both of these are two spectacular people. Rudy was inspired in the early 70s when he was a young man. He's always had a love of the water. He's from Austria, and his education was in shipbuilding. Well, Rudy and a bunch of people built a replica of the Kon-Tiki and sailed it out of Colombia, South America. So there we go. They promised each other that they would put a river cruise vessel someday, sometime on the Magdalena River in Colombia. So that is what this is all about. And it will be luxury cruising. And this will be, again, 40 cabins. We have 20 of them. Here is the architectural design of the new ships, of the Ama Melodía. You see right there are the map of where we will be. So we'll be on the north side or the Atlantic Caribbean side for most of our experience. And by the way, this is where the Spanish sent most of their gold that they took out of the entire country of South America. They sent it out of Colombia to Spain. So this is the 7-night cruise, February 25th through March 4th on the Ama Melodía is what it's called. We will start the cruise in Cartagena, and Cartagena has such a rich history. This is literally where the gold went out of. This is literally their biggest port city. This is really one of the more fun, alive cities in all all of South America, honestly, let alone Colombia. They, believe it or not, are you ready for this? They do the Carnival, like you've probably heard about in Rio. And they have the second biggest Carnival in the world, and that's in Barranquilla, which we will end up the cruise on. And then one of the third biggest is in Cartagena. But we'll go through all this with you right now, and you'll see the colors, you'll see the floral, you see everything. Oh, by the way, our dollar is very, very strong there. And again, they're going to, because AMA's the first to go into this area, the Tourism Bureau and the country and the government of Colombia have been very, very, very supportive of this project. So you'll see all about it. You'll find out it's a safe community, very, very, very safe everywhere we go. And they're going to lay out the red carpet for us and do a lot of things. This is one of what I will label history that I'm most excited about. I think it's called Palenque. It is literally the first free town, that's what this statue is, in all of South America. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site area. The slaves that were brought over, that the Portuguese and the Spanish brought over and had working on their plantations and everything, when they were freed, they all knew that Palenque was a free city. And so when they were freed, they all went there. And this is one of the, it's actually, listen to this, been deemed a UNESCO World Heritage Site under the masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. I think that's fabulous. And it goes on to say, a very, very important piece of the heritage that you'll find here in Palenque is the music and rhythmic style that was developed in this city, which you will enjoy during a special performance to us, to the AmaWaterways guests, by the local musicians. And I don't know, I think this, what a great thing. And if UNESCO has recognized it as something that important, you know it is. They have told me that there is something like, I can't remember, 10,000 rhythms, different rhythms in all of South America. And almost all of them came from Palenque, almost all of them. And so I think this will be both a historic and a cultural experience second to none. And that will be our first full stop after we leave Cartagena. So let's go ahead and go on through. Oh, from there we go to Kalmar, which is very nearby. By the way, like in Europe, these cities will be very, very close to each other. So we don't have to go far from one city to the other. And what a beautiful thing to be able to pack and unpack one time, as we do on the river cruise, and have literally almost everything included in our stay. So when we get to Kalmar, they will take us by rickshaw, and I'll show you a little bit of that. That's not the rickshaw right there, although I might get that. That would be kind of fun to do. Again, there's a lot of history, okay, with the cathedrals and with the Spanish history in this area. In fact, I'll talk to you in a few minutes about where the Spanish hid their gold when the pirates started realizing all this gold was being shipped out of Colombia. But the local crafts that they will make, and they are local, there's none of them made in China, will have opportunities to support their culture. And I just think this is going to be one of those experiences like in Europe that probably, in all of these towns, I bet you don't know. I've learned a little bit about them, but I think it's going to be intriguing and exciting to see and experience the culture that we go to in each and every different place. This Mompox channel is what I have been told will probably be our highlight of the entire trip. And it's, they describe it as a town frozen in time. One of the things that we will find out is this is the area inland a little bit from Cartagena that a lot of the gold that the Spanish brought in to South America and to this area was hidden in this area here. fact, Ama's been really funny to tell us that there's still liable to be a lot of gold that we could perhaps find when we're there that the Spanish just lost track of. Okay, again, rhythm, dancing, music is going to be a big deal through this entire experience. And in this particular case, which I find fascinating because I view jazz as kind of a upscale type thing anymore, but jazz is a big deal. Jazz is a big deal, especially in this area. Rhythm, dancing, music, you're going to see it everywhere. They will have a private performance for us in Mompox, which will be what they call a jazz performance by local musicians. So I think all of that, again, like I say, they're doing a lot of things for us, for the guests of AmaWaterways, that I just think is going to be a really first class and fabulously unique experience for us all. There you go. That's a good example of the river looking a lot like the Mississippi or the Missouri River too. And then there's all that Spanish architecture and design throughout this entire, not only city, but area. And again, you see how green it is because it does get a lot of rain. Now we're luckily not in the rainy season at all. In February, March, they literally average 0 inches of rain, but they get a lot of rain all year round. So we're in the non-rainy season. Okay, I love this. This is the this is the floating village. They have floating villages in a lot of these places where fishing is still a big deal. Fishing done a lot like they did years ago. Here they are out fishing, I think, with nets. They also have the rickshaws, they call them, that you see there, and a lot of the homemade things. Down on the bottom of the right, you'll see a lot of very Catholic history in all of the areas that we go to after the Spanish came in. You know, they converted most everybody to Catholicism. Most of you, I'm sure, have done river cruises, so you know the tours are all included, the meals are all included. And again, I think going back to the luxury of the air-conditioned brand new ship that we're on, eating whatever it is that we're comfortable with. By the way, they will have local Colombian dishes on board, as well as what they call Western food that a lot of us like. And everywhere we go, I just want you to know there will be good old Colombian coffee for us to experience. And they tell me, you know, they're very proud, like everywhere. They say it's the best coffee in the world. Ooh, that is good. Okay, now this evening we get to go into town, and they will take us along the Alborada, I believe it's pronounced, which is the nightlife scenic area for restaurants and for entertainment at night. Now, probably a night like this is one of the nights I will probably not eat on the ship and go into town and eat. You have your choice of whether you want to eat on the ship or come back in, because it's walking distance from where we'll be docking. They're talking about this being a place where precious metals and the work of skilled artisans from Spain came beautifully crafted artifacts. So you'll have a chance, ladies, to do a lot of shopping. Okay. And again, El Banco, let me find out. I don't remember about this. It's kind of a neat looking picture, isn't it? Here they're going to have a private exclusive dinner in town for us at night, and we will witness an incredible cumbia. I had to ask Nicole Busenbark, our graphic arts designer, what cumbia meant, but we will witness an incredible cumbia performance by locals. Cumbia is a type of music and folk dance. So again, that's I think the cultural part of this is just going to be special. I think we're going to find this as a very alive, fun, safe, as the 45 and under crowd have found it to be. We just have to get out of our mind the drug cartels of the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Okay, then going into El Banco, there will be some free time, as you see. We will cruise from town to town. I told you there we will have that special dinner event in town where they will have this live performance for us. Doesn't it look cool? I think, and again, this will be a very, very casual experience. We will have another one or probably two webinars on this. For those that sign up for this trip, we will do another one. I'm not sure when, another webinar with the individual. It's a couple, husband and wife. He is in charge of all the infrastructure, and she is in charge of training the cruise managers for the two ships as well as their staff. And AMA has promised me we will make time to get them to do a webinar, so we're much more, so you can hear from them instead of from me about what to expect on this very, very special experience. Now, I told you earlier that this trip, I believe cultural will be the number one thing you will get out of this. To bird lovers and bird nerds, again, like my wife, everybody has told me that I think there's over 123 different varietals of birds, but there is over 20 that are indigenous to just Colombia. So if you're a bird nerd, that might be number two after the culture, or perhaps number one and culture number two and history three. So let's talk about all this, because we will go to this. It's not a bird sanctuary, but it's an area where the birds are very, very visible, and you'll see all different kinds. I love the one on the bottom left with a fish in its mouth, and I can't remember the name of that one, but they told us that's like their country bird, if you will. You know how we have state birds, and they have a country bird, and that's it. But I don't know. I think it's going to be great. Maybe we'll get Jim Pettyjohn to sculpture one of these birds for you. We buy a lot of bird sculptures from Jim. Okay, then we end up the cruise in Barranquilla, and I'll tell you what, I love this picture. Does this not look like the epitome of color and alive and happy? And I think that's exactly what we're going to see. Now remember, this is one of the towns that has the carnival to it. So they are doing a private carnival just for the guest of the ship on every cruise AmaWaterways does. So they'll most certainly be doing that for us now too. I just think this is going to be phenomenal. In this area, they have like a floating village too that we'll get a chance to experience. Again, AMA has picked out all of the tours. The cruise manager, like on the European River cruise, every night before we get to the next place, will tell us about what we're going to experience, what the history is there, the culture, wildlife, and then you have your choice of doing the tour or not. But I think this will be a first time to this country for most of us. And I don't know, I plan on doing everything. Okay, so there you go. That's what I just said, that they'll do the exclusive carnival performance for us. The Verano Departmental Band Foundation. That's kind of fun to have a band foundation, right? So that shows you, and you've learned all about the fact that this country is rhythm, music, dancing is huge in this country. It's a big, big part of their culture, big part of their history. So now let's talk about what it costs. So this ship is designed, it's state of the art for the area. It'll be, well, the only one on the Magdalena River, but they have told us without question they're so proud. Mimi and I were just out at the headquarters of AmaWaterways in October, and they were just so very, very proud of the infrastructure, the ship, and the relationships, partnerships that they've already made in this beautiful country with these beautiful people. So there is the three levels. I'll move it back here in a little bit to show you the ship again. But there's a twin balcony that is in that's a category C. Again, we've got half the ship, so we literally took, in essence, half of the cabins of each category. There's category B, twin balcony, which is on the second floor, and the category A balcony is on the third floor. There's a junior suite, which is just a little bit bigger. And then there is the luxury suite too. So that is for the 7-night cruise. And again, that's the all-inclusive package, you know, that beer and wine. And I think everything's going to be somewhat similar. No, it says beverages not included during meal times. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But the optional pre-package availability is well, let's talk about this just a second. I am doing, it's not a post, it's a pre to Medellin and to Cartagena. And that's 3 nights. Then there will be an additional 2 nights if you want to stay with me for the 2 nights in Cartagena, or just come in for the 2 nights to Cartagena and not go to Medellin. So the deposit is $1,330 per person. The deposit can be made by check or credit card for that payment. But when we charter a ship like this, we're buying those 20 cabins. They require us to pay by wire or by cash. So we will ask you for your final payment to be done by check, cash, wire, whatever. Or you can put it on your credit card if you want, but we'll assess you a 3.5% fee. So what's included? The cruise, the port taxes and fees, gratuities for the crew on board. What's not included is, of course, the airfare or the pre and post packages. Beverages not included during mealtime. I'm going to find out about that more. I thought I heard that wine and beer were included, but spirits were not, but I'll find that out. Other personal expenses, and then the optional shore excursions. And then there will be a post package in Panama City if you would like to go to that, to see the Panama Canal. So with that said, oh, here's the land. Good. The Medellin will be before the cruise for 3 nights, and then to Cartagena for 2 nights. And again, if you do not want to go to Medellin, you can fly from the United States into Cartagena. We will help you with your air, or you are able to get it. If you have points or miles, you can do that too. The rate for the 5-night pre-package that I am hosting is $2,570 for double, or $3,680 for single. That will include our flight from Cartagena to Medellin and Medellin back to Cartagena. Okay, oh, by the way, Medellin is known also for their coffee, and we will do a full day coffee tour and tasting, and then they'll have time that night, and then we will do on day 3 the Medellin city tour. And you probably have heard of the sculptor Botero. You've seen the big people all over, and it has become literally, this started right here in Medellin, and it's become famous all over the world. Our friends Bob and Marilyn Harris, they were telling us that they have sculptures like this all over Denver right now. Okay, and then here's the Cartagena part of the pre-package, and that's for those of you, well, whether you fly from the United States or fly from Medellin to Cartagena, we'll do a walking tour that day with the cruise manager. On day 2, we'll see the San Felipe Castle and the Gold Museum and the Naval Museum. We'll learn all about the gold shipping out of there. We'll learn all about the pirates and the other naval part of Cartagena. And then we'll check out of the hotel and embark on the AmaWaterways. Well, this is our staff. This is our good-looking ladies and one ugly man, me. So I hope you'll go with me on this. I can promise you this is such, I think this is just going to be spectacular. It's one of those experiences that I think will be probably as unique as maybe anything you have done anywhere in the world. I personally love going into places that I have not been to before. and learn about what makes them special. And again, like I said, hey, there's so many of the people of the world that are going there right now. And it seems like, oh, again, it's one of the most popular news countries in the world. By the way, with Japan also being on that list, and there's a few others, but I'll tell you, how about that? I just think this is going to be a great experience. I'd love to have you go with me. Remember, there's only 20 staterooms. We've got, I think, 4 staterooms from before that said, yeah, we still want to go, and they have their money in on it now. But get a hold of, if you have a vacation advisor here, get a hold of them. Tell them you want to go on this. If you do not have a vacation advisor, get a hold of Lynette or Ashley. There are group coordinators in the group department. You can just ask for the receptionist to send you to the group department, and Lynette and Ashley can help you with what's available and go over all the details with you. Then if you need me to talk to you about anything, I'll be happy to do so. I just wanted to re-show you the ship again. Again, well, honestly, it's a really pretty big ship for 40 staterooms and 80 people maximum. Beautiful area upstairs, as you see, the sun deck, and then there'll be a wonderful restaurant on there, as well as the lounge for us to all get together. And I don't know, I'm looking forward to this. I hope you'll join me on this. I think this is going to be a great, great experience. I think it'll do exactly what we promised you things will do. They will create memories that last a lifetime. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And if you have friends, people that weren't able to watch today, Nicole will be sending you an email with a link to this webinar on it. You are welcome to have that. You send that to your friends, no matter where they are in the United States or world, and we'd love to have them join us. And if they want to call and talk to me or Lynette or Ashley, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. So thanks again, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you. If not before that, by the way, we have a river cruise event this Thursday, and the January 16th, and we have 5 of the leading river cruise line representatives in the world coming in. Viking, AmaWaterways, Avalon Waterways, Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and TAUK. This is the first time we've had TAUK, T-A-U-C-K, the real luxury small river cruise ship, the company that goes all over the world. So they'll be here this Thursday, January 16th at 2 o'clock to 3:30. And then again, they'll start all over again, 5 o'clock to 6:30. And what we'll do, we're almost sold out on that right now, but there's no cost to it. But I mean, the number of people that we could take here at our office, we've got the RSVPs that we're almost sold out. And we'll just have people sit in our downstairs conference room or our upstairs conference room. And then the representatives every 30 minutes will come and give you the presentation on what makes their river cruise line special. And they will have sale pricing for us too. Now, not on this, because we've chartered this, so our prices are lower on this than you could get on the open market, or what we call individual travel. Okay, everybody, February 24th through March 4th, Colombia, South America. Oh, one last thing. If you decide you want to go into Machu Picchu or the Galapagos Islands, or anywhere in South America or Panama after the cruise, or before, for that matter, if you don't want to go to Medellin or Cartagena, we can arrange that for you too. If you want us to customize anything, we will do that for you, and we'll help you with your air and with travel insurance. Thanks, everybody. Take care, and let's go Chiefs. 3rd Super Bowl, 3-peat. Talk to you later.